Hey guys, feel like this is a little late considering that Safi'Jiiva is going to be cycling out soon, but better late than never. I want to talk about some strategies that any one player can use to increase the speed and efficiency of Safi'Jiiva runs, as well as giving some insight into why sometimes players are able to kill Safi'Jiiva in a single run. Before we begin, I want to say, like all hunts, using these tips will not guarantee a clear, but it will develop a good habit for you, and also make you look like an absolute pro when going to public lobbies. To maximize your chances, having higher tier gear or very strong elemental set is recommended. The first thing I want to talk about is the Safi'Jiiva Phase 1. I made a video on this way back, but I feel like MS Paint does not make it as clear as giving you a live gameplay demo. It is possible to skip Safi'Jiiva's first phase with good damage and a solid understanding of its mechanics. For Phase 1, I like to use bow as my preferred weapon, because of how easy it is to apply blast procs. I also know both bowguns can abuse either sticky ammo or dragon ammo to accomplish the task. As a range player, I will be aiming for the left wing to get quick flinches. Melee players, being unable to hit the wing, will instead aim for the hind leg. When Safi'Jiiva is not agitated, flinches created by hitting body parts will cause it to move instead. By flinching it towards the left side of the arena, you will have it placed perfectly for a rock drop. This will come in handy in a short while. Flinching Safi'Jiiva again here will cause it to get caught in the vines. This is a great time to deal more damage to all the body parts. As Safi'Jiiva leaves the vine trap, you can extend the down duration by dropping the rocks above Safi'Jiiva. To time this right, you can either listen for the sound cue, remember the animation, or my personal favorite, just looking at the minimap. Assuming you have dealt enough damage during that time, Safi'Jiiva will absorb all the energy in the first zone in one go, before leaving for the next area. There isn't a big difference between Phase 1 and Phase 2. Your goal is still exactly the same: drain the energy of Safi'Jiiva. In this case, you will not have the rocks and vines to make your job easy. That doesn't mean I'm going to say turn this fight into a slugfest. In this phase, you can cancel Safi'Jiiva's Nova with a single, well-timed flash pod as Safi'Jiiva flies up. I'm not exactly the best at timing this, and it does require that you are aware when Safi'Jiiva might fly up for the Nova. I began to enjoy using a charge blade for this very reason. I would spend most of my time in Savage Axe with a flash pod loaded and ready for a slinger burst when I see the fly up animation. Combined with a mount and perhaps a stun from a blunt weapon or sticky ammo, you can make short work of Phase 2 without wasting too much time. Phase 3 is the last phase, and players can easily dispatch the monster or panic and make the phase an entire mess. Thankfully, I have a few strategies for this phase as well. The first tip ties in with Phase 2's flash pod strategy. After a while, Safi'Jiiva will enter its supercritical state, where all damage it takes is amplified, and its hitboxes becomes much squishier. When it enters its Nova animation, using a flash pod to cancel the Nova will cause Safi'Jiiva to stay in supercritical state when it completes it, giving your team a good time to DPS it down to its threshold again. My next tip is regarding the vents for Safi'Jiiva. If you're new to the fight, and you somehow get aggro, you can lure Safi'Jiiva to cracked grounds to trigger 1000 damage. I would not recommend the strategy if you're with experienced team with high damage, as baiting the monster hitbox away is usually not worth the measly 1000. However, completing this task 3 times will knock Safi'Jiiva over, giving your party more opportunities to DPS the downed body. My last tip is for all the one cycle clears. Sometimes, Safi'Jiiva will use a Nova twice in a row, causing players to wipe because there are no rocks to hide behind. This usually occurs under 2 conditions. When Safi'Jiiva finishes a Nova, and there is no specific target it's looking for, by that I mean enmity, and when in Skull Phase, when the attack that drops rocks is animation cancelled, usually by a flinch. The latter occurs much more often in a single run Safi. To mitigate this, players can either hold off on DPS a little bit, while waiting for the rock attack. Or use a flash pod or bomb pod so that it drops down while on low HP to cancel the Nova in a last ditch window to delay it and kill it before it flies up again. Or if you have enough DPS, you can just kill it outright after the Nova and ignore everything I said. Anyways, I hope you guys learned something from any of the 5 tips I put out. If not, feel free to drop a like anyways. Let me know in the comments if any of the tips helped you out, or drop your own Safi tips below. I wish everyone a smooth Safi'Jiiva hunting experience, and I'll see you next time.